Hey there. Let's talk about the loader module for just a second. What is the loader module? For starters, you probably have one on your computer at home. As far as I understand, every major operating system has a loader module. I would be surprised if an operating system did not have one. The loader module is basically responsible for getting your program loaded from your hard disk, your SSD or whatever, into RAM and sort of setting up an empty process and getting it all prepared so that the operating system can begin executing your process. It doesn't actually execute it, it just gets it set up. So think about it. What if I click on my desktop here and I click on this little mouse icon, this little text editor icon, the mouse pad? It launched. What happened? It wasn't running before and now it is running. Something had to do that. It wasn't the desktop environment, actually. The desktop environment, when I clicked this little button, it just sent a signal to the operating system, letting it know that I wanted to start executing a program, but it didn't actually load it up for me. That's the loader module. The loader module is part of the operating system. And imagine that as soon as I, click this button right here, a signal gets sent to the operating system, or maybe even if I just execute a command like echo, test or something, or run git status, let's say. Or even I could run this terminal again, Terminator, and it shows up in another window, something like that. Let me exit from that. Anything that I exit, whatever, the loader module is involved. So I click this, and the first thing that will happen is the loader module will inspect the executable, which is just kind of sitting on disk somewhere, and it'll make sure that it's actually executable. It'll make sure, not just in terms of permissions, that's sort of an operating system thing, a different part of the operating system, but it'll check to make sure, let's say that it's a binary program that needs to be executed. It'll make sure that the data inside of the binary, the actual executable, is correct for the current system that you're on. Like right now I'm on Linux 64-bit. So it'll make sure that the executable is in ELF 64 format, or a format that can be executed. It'll check that, it'll make sure everything's okay, it'll make sure it's got some data, it's got like an entry point, whatever. If everything looks good, then it will go through system RAM and try to find a little place in RAM that's unoccupied. I'm not going to talk too much about operating system concepts beyond the loader module, but just so you know, there is a paging system that it would go through, which sort of lets you have fragmented memory without too much of a penalty. So it's not necessarily scanning the RAM stick directly, but for our purposes, we'll just say it's looking for a free spot in memory. Anyway, once it finds out that there's a free spot in memory that's big enough to accommodate the program, then it actually loads the program from disk, from SSD, from whatever, into that spot in memory and creates a process in the operating system. Remember, everything that's actually running in your operating system is a process. There's a process for this notepad, there's a process for the mouse stuff, there's a process for this little widget down here, there's a process for the entire desktop, there's a process for probably every tab in your browser. A process just means here's a little spot in memory on the computer, and it's got a program inside of it, and it wants to be run by the CPU whenever the CPU thinks that it has some time to run that process. So that's like a process. Anyway, so it finds a spot in memory, it loads the program in there, it checks everything, it sets it up as a process, which means it has to set up some data structures in the operating system indicating, hey, there's a new process in town, and here's where the memory is, and here's the first instruction that you should execute, and it just kind of sets everything up so that it's like a ready process, a process in the ready state that hasn't been actually executed yet, but it's ready to get executed. So once it does all of that, creating the new process, setting everything up, maybe figuring out what is the virtual memory address that the process is going to see, and so forth, then finally it lets the operating system know that the process is ready to run. So before it was just kind of like loading it and setting it up, marking little flags, figuring out the virtual memory offset, all that stuff. Then once that's all finished, it just tells the operating system, now this process is ready to run. The process doesn't actually run at that point. Again, I'm going to try my best not to talk too much about operating systems concepts beyond the loader module, but the loader module's job is not to run the process. It's just to load it, just to set it up. At some later point in time, maybe some amount of microseconds or milliseconds in the future, the operating system will decide, okay, now I'm ready to let that program run for a little while. Since the process has already been set up by the loader module, the operating system knows where it is in memory, and it knows the next instruction address or offset address to execute. It'll just start bringing those instructions onto the CPU and just execute them for some amount of time, and then the operating system will decide to stop and take it off the CPU again, put it back just into a ready state, and then it just keeps switching back and forth between that. By the way, have you ever wondered how it is that maybe your CPU only has 1 core or only 8 cores, but there are hundreds of browser tabs that you have open, hundreds and hundreds of processes that you have open? That's how the operating system does it. It simulates, it provides the illusion that all these programs are running at the same time. So this Notepad process right here, it's not actually running at all times. It just runs in tiny little slices. Again, I'll try to stay away from explaining that too much because I'm really here to talk about the loader module. Another thing to keep in mind is that eventually when your process terminates, like the program terminates itself or the operating system kills it for some reason, or just, something happens to where it's just not going to be running anymore, it's not the loader module that has anything to do with that, and there is no unloader module. It will just mark itself as, I'm done, I'm terminated, whatever, or it'll get marked. Then the operating system will come along and clean it up. So loader module is not involved in that step. It's just involved in getting everything set up so that it can start to execute. And that's the basic idea. Not, super detailed, but that's what the loader module does in general. And you probably have a loader module on your operating system right now, unless you're running some bizarre operating system that has some other strange method of doing things. Okay, that's all I really wanted to say in this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned a little bit of stuff and had some fun. I'll see you in the next video. Hey everybody. Thanks for watching this video again. From the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate it. I do hope you did learn something and have some fun. If you could do me a small little favor, could you please subscribe and follow this channel or these videos or whatever it is you do on the current social media website that you're looking at right now. It would really mean the world to me, and it'll help make more videos and grow this community. So we'll be able to do more videos, longer videos, better videos, or just I'll be able to keep making videos in general. So please do me a kindness and subscribe. Sometimes I'm sleeping in the middle of the night and I just wake up because I know somebody subscribed or followed. It just wakes me up and I get filled with joy. That's exactly what happens every single time. So you could do it as a nice favor to me, or you could troll me if you want to just wake me up in the middle of the night. Just subscribe and then I'll just wake up. I promise that's what will happen. Also, if you look at the middle of the screen right now, you should see a QR code which you can scan in order to go to the website, which I think is also named somewhere at the bottom of this video. And it'll take you to my main website where you can just kind of like see all the videos I published and the services and tutorials and things that I offer and all that good stuff. And if you have a suggestion for clarifications or errata or just future videos that you want to see, please leave a comment. Or if you just want to say, hey, what's up? What's going on? Just send me a comment. Whatever. I also wake up for those in the middle of the night. I wake up in a cold sweat and I'm like, it would really mean the world to me. I would really appreciate it. So again, thank you so much for watching this video, and enjoy the cool music as I fade into the darkness which is coming for us all.